Today we want to go over the puzzle document. My name is Christophe Clermont and welcome to this tutorial. The puzzle document is a very simple example of a puzzle which actually could be landscape or portrait. The user is able to change the background image and also able to add some other text and interesting things like we call group snippets. So let's start. Changing the background gives us the option to toggle between two images, to upload my own image, to zoom image, to pan image, like always. And also we can change the format to portrait or landscape, which also changes the puzzle pattern itself, because this is a different one in landscape than in portrait. So going back to landscape, going back to the baby picture here, what we also can do is we can select these, what we call group snippets, which actually is a very nice combination of layouts with the buyer can place on a document and move freely around. Also, the buyer is able to change, in that case, the color, so everything you allow, and the text, which we can now just change here. So we still keep the nice layout. This is a cool thing of the group snippets. People can design, but they will have beautiful outcome and still have the creativity of building their own templates. And you can provide them with these group snippets. This is the things we will look at now, how they are done. So let's go to the admin area and have a look what we have done. So first of all, we have a basic document structure, which in that case is there is one layer on top, which is the puzzle layer, which is locked, which is just the overlay. And by locking it, it will automatically not be able to, you can't select it in the administration mode, you can't select it in the buyer mode, you can't even select it here. And then we got this little icons here, and this icon is telling us that this one is appearing on the preview and this one is appearing in the print. So what we see is that this layer will only appear in the preview but not in the print. So that's how we can just simulate a puzzle, but of course we don't want to print a puzzle. We later on do it with die cutting. We also have the middle layer. The middle layer is the layer where all the elements from the user goes through. In that case, it's a group snippet the buyer has added here. So when I will delete this group snippet, this layer is completely empty. And this is how this document looks when it's first loaded. And then we got the background layer, which has our image, which is also a good structure to do it like this. So the image is not, actually the user cannot touch it. It's not movable, it's fixed, and it's set to a docking point position with 0, 0, 0, 0. The most easy way to actually make this span the entire document. You would maybe say that there should be some bleed, so we would have a minus 0.2, which is probably not completely right in that example here. When I'm in the buyer side, I still can access this image. I can't click on it, but I can click on change background. The way how this happens is that in the buyer side settings, this image is editable, it's mandatory to exchange, and the buyer can upload images, but it's also a background frame. So when I turn this checker on, the image will not be clickable by the user, but reachable via this change background button. And one of the nice things about it, you can actually add multiple frames to that. So what you can do is you can make another text frame, go to the buyer side settings, allow changing the content, and put it to the background as well. So when going to the buyer side, we can now change the image and the text. So you can actually realize patterns in the background, you can do color change in the background, all that options. The third thing in that puzzle here is the puzzle itself. So when we change the orientation, which is, by the way, again, a document size field, which has two orientations, portrait and landscape, in A4 right now, and it has a label landscape and portrait. So we see in the list the nice label to choose from. A reminder, this field can be shown by simply clicking on show document size and form field here in the settings menu. When I am on portrait, I see a different puzzle pattern than on landscape. So actually, this image is defined on landscape on this layer and with a one puzzle pattern, and then we have a very simple style here which is assigned to that frame, which we see here. This has a puzzle tag here, and this style says if the label document size equals portrait, then the style should get active, and then it's actually turning from vertical to horizontal puzzle, which is unfortunately just named puzzle 3 here. So you need to believe me. So that's the way how this image exchanges when the document size changes. The more creative area of this template are the group snippets. And we see that we got a little collection here of group snippets, and I will show you where they're coming from. We got this snippet resources tab here, and in the resources tab we got search for snippets, what you can see here, and then we got the basket. And the basket gives you the ability to add multiple categories. So we can actually add another category here, and then we go in the tags, because all the snippets has tags. That's the way how they are addressed. And then we can select whatever, all the Printess font snippets here. And when we do so, we have two categories here. We can also check what we have selected by just clicking on it, and then we see this nice font collection. These are all, by the way, global snippets, which we see here, which are coming with every account, and that's the reason why they all be prefixed with Printess. It's just because that you not get confused with your own ones in your own account, and you can easily turn them off in the settings menu by say I don't want to search in global snippets, and then they are gone and you completely reduce to the snippets you want to have, which you actually can still use the snippets and copy it over to your document, your libraries, and use the artworks or whatever, and you got the snippet still, but you have your own libraries and you don't see the global ones if you want. So let's go to the buyer side here and have a look what happened. We got a new category, we got new snippets, and of course we can just click on these snippets and can change the name here to Baby Chris or whatever. So that's the way how we can work with snippets. Now let's create our own snippet. So let me remove this one first, go to the admin side. To create a snippet is fairly easy. We call it snip. We just create a new document. We go to that document. Let's change the size of the document to square. And now let's do a snippet. Let's start with the beautiful orange here, or maybe this one, and give it a better color. And now we also add another text frame. So make it pretty simple, nothing very sophisticated, just a snippet. Actually, a snippet can be everything. Everything you can lay out, you can export as a snippet. That's a great thing of this concept. There is nothing more special to do. And it works like a normal document. So when I test this document in the buyer side, I cannot select any of these frames because they're all not editable. So what we have to do first, we first need to say, I want to change the color of this one and I want to change the content of this one. So if I go back to the buyer side, now I can change the color, and here I can change the text. Group snippets are called group snippets because they're always grouped. So this is what automatically happened when you use them as a group snippet. So you don't have to care, but I also can group them right now, because then I can go to the buyer side and see exactly how it will look like. I now have my text and I now have my color just in one snippet. Okay, so let's export this as a snippet. First of all, what we need to do is we need to mark it as a snippet, which we can do here. There are two kinds of snippets. We're right now talking about the group snippets. So I click on group snippet. In the same moment, there is a new option popping up in the main properties bar here, which gives me a chance to name the snippet with a title, which I can do. I don't have to. I can leave it snip. More important is that we give it a tag. So these tags are important to actually link up the snippets to your document like we have seen before. So let's just call it orange. Anyhow, so that's our tag. So when we have done this, we now can go to that menu and say we want to publish our one snippet. It's now publishing it. You can have multiple snippets in one template, which is quite handy then to organize these things. So let's go back to the puzzle and let's go back to our snippet selection here. Let's remove the Printess font tag for now, and let's add the orange tag we just have created with one member. We can also go to show and search and we will see what we have selected. In the buyer side, we now have another selection. So we can select our fancy text, orange snippet here, and we now can actually change the color of the orange and the text. We can't change the text color. I think we haven't forgot to put it on, which we might could do. So go to the snippet again. Let's ungroup this, go to the text frame, allow the user to change the color. I would have done that, but I forgot it. And then let's export that, publish that snippet again. Go back to our puzzle. In the buyer side, we can first delete this one and now click on the new one. And if we select it, we now have two colors, one color for the text and one color for the fruit. So I think we learned a lot in that tutorial about building that puzzle document. I hope you enjoyed it and you had fun. I thank you for listening and hope to see you next time.